have this old school looking key. Hey guys, it's Shanus. So as I mentioned in the video from yesterday, again, these are just educational videos, so I'm just kind of letting you guys know what to expect. This video today I mainly did because, well, when I was looking to buy a Veloster, nobody had ever explained to me what the difference was between the base, the turbo, the R-Spec, and the Rally Edition. So now that I have that under my belt, I'm going to go ahead and endow that information to you guys. And then another neat little thing in there that I'm going to throw in is I refer to the Velosters from a certain age. I believe the 2015 models and older, I'm going to refer to as the 1.0 base, and then anything past that, so the 2016, 2017 models, I'm going to basically refer to as the 1.5. And all it is just a key little differences. They kind of refresh the platform. So, you know, now standard, instead of 17-inch rims, you're going to get 18-inch rims. And then they did update the gauge cluster a bit, and, you know, little things here and there. So I'm going to touch base on that in the video, but I hope you guys enjoy this. Let's get straight into it. Alright guys, so obviously we're at the front of the base model. One of the main differences that you'll notice as opposed to the turbo models is the front bumper. So immediately this one has what I kind of like to call a more smiley effect. The front bumper is less aggressive. This one being a base model and also at the same time not being a premium base model also lacks the lower fog lights, as you can tell. If you get a more premium base model, you will get the fog lights in the front. Another thing to note, especially if you guys have been following my channel with the modifications, you can see again the amber bulbs for the turn signals in the front, and then the ambers for the headlights, which obviously we did an amber delete. And lastly, one more thing to kind of focus on the main headlight is that on the non-turbo models, you actually don't have the lower LED strip, you do not have the projector, and you also don't have the halo ring due to losing the projector. So these are just a few differences right off the bat. Alright, now we're on the side of the Veloster, and another thing to mention between the base and the turbo models is you see there's a lack of a side skirt. So on the base models we don't have a side skirt, and if you can see the rim in the shot, we also have a few more basic smaller sized rims as opposed to the turbo models, which depending on if you're on the 1.0 scale, you would have started off with 17 inches and optional 18 inches, and now the 1.5 comes standard with 18-inch rims. Another thing, if we zoom up a little bit towards the rear view mirror, on the more high-end models and the turbo models, we have an LED turn signal embedded into the actual side mirrors. On the R-Spec and the Rally Edition, we actually don't have that for, I suppose, weight reduction. So that's just another little key element to take into consideration. So now we're at the back of both cars, the base and the R-Spec, and keep in mind that the R-Spec is considered a turbo model, just a different version of it. One of the main differences you can tell is the rear bumper. It's a little less aggressive on the base model. It does lose the rear bottom diffuser, along with the exhaust tips being more of a square cutout, as opposed to the more aggressive, circular, larger tipped exhaust. Another thing is the actual reflectors. On the turbo models, you get these larger circular reflectors as opposed to these more obtuse square cutout reflectors. Another thing is if you go a little bit higher, on the base models, we don't have LED tail lights whatsoever. So all the turbo models come standard with LED tail lights. And lastly, nothing major, but the actual wing on the hatch is a little less protruding on the base model as opposed to the turbo models. Nice little fun fact though, they both do come stock with rear view cameras, so when you back up, you know, you're able to see where you're going regardless of the model. So moving on to the outside of the turbo model, like I mentioned, the rear view cameras, they're nicely integrated right underneath the H Hyundai badge, as my cameraman is pointing out. A huge difference between the turbo models and the base model is the badging. So I know I've actually mentioned this before, but the turbo models obviously have a turbo badge right here. The R-Spec will have the individual R-Spec badge, and the Rally Edition will have a special Rally Edition badge as well. So nothing major as far as the backside and differences on the hatch portion. Alright, so on the side of the turbo model, we do have a main difference in the side skirt. So as you can see that this one actually comes equipped with the side skirt. Another thing, like I mentioned, on the 1.5 versions, we have stock factory 18-inch rims. These are, again, a slightly better version of them. There's quite a few handful of different rim selections, so you know, pick your poison. And then lastly, again, just focusing on the side, this is an R-Spec model, so again, we do not have the LED turn signals embedded into the side mirrors. Alright, now obviously you're like, why are we looking at the roof of both cars? So being that this is the base model and the R-Spec model, we also have a lack of sunroof. So the premium base model and the turbo models actually come with a sunroof. The R-Spec turbo model and the Rally Edition do not have a sunroof, and again, all in the namesake of weight reduction. Alright guys, so now we're at the front of the turbo model, or my R-Spec, and one of the main differences that you can tell right off the bat is the front bumper. Again, way more aggressive with the bigger intake scoop or grill. And one of the main reasons obviously is you do need to be having more airflow for the intercooler that comes integrated. Another thing that you can notice right off the bat is the fog lights. They all come standard with fog lights, and they are obviously different. Unfortunately, I couldn't demonstrate the fog lights on the base model, but as opposed to a rectangular shape for the non-turbo models, this one comes with circular fog lights, much like the circular reflectors in the back. And then if we just move on up a little bit and start focusing on the headlights, you'll notice that the turbo models now come factory with the LED strip and the halo around the projector. Again, this being a feature of the 1.5 revision. Alright, now we're at the interior of the base model, and one of the main differences between the turbo models and the base model is that if you get the non-premium base model, you have these non-leather seats with the Veloster logo integrated into them. Still very nice, kind of bucketish style, comfortable seats. Obviously in the premium models you have some extra features like seat warmers and whatnot. All the turbo models actually come standard with a leather, except for the R-Spec, which I'll be going over in a moment once we get to that. But again, very nice bucket style seats. Let's go more into depth. Alright, so one of the main revisions between the 1.0 and the 1.5 is basically the gauge cluster. So this one has your more typical Hyundai Blue gauges with digital fuel and digital engine coolant temperature, as opposed to the 1.5, which you'll see in mine, is more of a traditional and a little more sporty. So we'll go there. Again, being the base and not having a stick shift, this is what the dual clutch transmission shifter looks like. The middle portion is all the same though. The handbrake is still in the same position, and you still have the two cup holders along with the little middle support. One thing also to note in this shot in the background is if you could see where the speaker's at, the base models, well, the non-turbo models don't come with the special dimension stereo unit, which is actually standard on all turbo models. Lastly, the base model, along with the R-Spec and Rally Edition, do not come with push to start. Not a deal breaker, but if that's something that you guys are really excited about, expect to lose it on the R-Spec and the Rally Edition. Again, all in the name of weight reduction. And also, since we were just talking about the dual clutch transmission, one thing I forgot to mention is that on the steering wheel mounted, you have paddle shifters. It's really hard to tell. There's the downshift, there's the upshift. But yes, dual clutch transmission, paddle shifters. Woo woo. Alright, so obviously we're now in the interior of the R-Spec, or one of the turbo models. One of the main differences that you can see right off the bat is, like I mentioned, the gauges. Again, this is exclusive to the 1.5 revision that I like to call. So you have more traditional, sporty looking gauges, along with analog fuel gauge and analog engine coolant temperature gauge. And then that little middle portion, right now it's showing that my door's open, but that's where your trip and your service menu all come into play. So not a huge difference, but definitely something that I personally prefer over the older models. Moving forward to the center console, again, pretty much the same. One huge difference that I did not mention on the base model is that if you get the premium and the turbo models, not only do they come with push to start, but they also come with auto AC. So this middle knob right here that I'm focusing in on will not have your little dials to change the temperature. It'll actually have an auto button and more digital buttons to select your temperature range. If we go down more, obviously this is the stick shift model. You can see the pedals in the back. I do believe that those pedals are exclusive to the turbo models. If you have a base model stick shift, you get less fancy pedals. But going back here, we have this very nice shift knob. Again, this is also part of the revision. Some of the older models have a different looking shift knob for the stick shifts. And exclusive to the Rally and R-Spec is the B&M short shifter. You can actually get it for the turbo models. You just have to pay extra, so it's kind of a premium accessory, I guess you could call. But it comes standard on the R-Spec and Rally Edition. I know it might look silly, but another exclusive for the R-Spec and the Rally is their own individual floor mats. So the Veloster R-Spec has a special R-Spec set with the R-Spec logo, and the Rally Edition has the same with the Rally Edition logo. And then just real quick going on up, as you can tell on the turbo models, we do have the Dimension stereo units that come standard on all turbo models. Alright, so I did mention I was going to show you some differences in the seats. So one really cool exclusive to only R-Spec models is that we have this faux leatherette and mesh combination in a maroon reddish. I don't know if the camera actually does it justice because this color isn't bright as much as it seems. It's actually a very nice, subtle, darker, like I said, maroon red. One revision for the 1.5 is that it comes with matching red seatbelts. Again, if you have one of the older R-Specs, the seatbelts weren't red. So that's just another minor difference on the 1.5 version. And as you can see, if you look across, it also has red on the door inserts. The turbo models have their own leather, but it's all black. But right here on this bucket seat, you'll see turbo inserted on both sides of the seat and both seats. And again, unique to the Rally Edition, it's again just the typical leather. However, all the stitching is blue to match the unique matte blue paint, along with some of the accents like the silver portions are actually blue as well for that particular model. So kind of neat that the R-Spec and the Rally Edition do get some differences. Lastly, the side again. So unique to the R-Spec and the Rally is the Sport Tune suspension. Really, it's just stiffer springs that come standard on both of those models, but that is kind of a little key selling point. Biggest difference on the Rally Edition is it comes with its own multi-spoke black raise rims. So that's definitely a nice touch as opposed to just your Hyundai rims. And lastly, kind of a nice little quirk of the Veloster, in case you guys haven't noticed, is that there's 3 doors on it. So if you guys didn't notice on the videos, every time you look at the left side, you have just your typical coupe, just 1 door. But on the right side, you have this extra door for your rear seats, which I'm opening up right now. And my R-Spec has obviously red seats in the back. So lastly, on the base model, the R-Spec and the Rally Edition, we have this old school looking key and fob. This is to obviously unlock your doors and everything. It's very basic. You don't get push to start. You have to do the old school turn key. I'm borrowing my friend Luis's Kia key, but to give you an example, the push to starts come with an immobilizer and key set more similar to this, so you can tell kind of the difference in what to expect. Old school, 2000s vehicle, 2017. Alright guys, so we're back to the front. I did want to mention a few things that I didn't show you guys because they're all the same. They all have the same in the center console or the armrest. They have the compartment there. They all have a glove box. They all have the same trunk and hatch space. They all have a little holder for your glasses in the roof. Just a few minor things that I wasn't able to show you guys is the premium model and the premium model on the turbos. You do have the opportunity of getting a tech package, which comes with the navigation unit. Looks almost identical to the stereo in these ones. Main difference is obviously have built-in navigation, and a neat thing for 2016 going over is that they've added the ability to download Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So if that's a major selling point for you guys, then there you have that. Again, just keep in mind, one of the main reasons why I made this video is for consumers being interested. But another thing, to be completely honest, is that I've seen a lot of miseducation on YouTube recently with, for some reason, some people saying they have R-Spec models or Rally Editions when they really don't. I really don't understand, what the point is. But again, key differences in the Rally Edition is that right away you'll notice that one has a matte blue finish and the raised rims. That's extremely unique to that. But hey, you know what? If you guys are a fan of matte paint, Turbo Models has a unique matte grape finish that you can get on those. There's not major differences performance-wise or modification-wise, really. Like I said, the Rally Edition and R-Spec are missing a little more luxuries and features, just all in the name of weight reduction. But again, I've seen just a few posts here of people claiming that they have models that they don't, and I just wanted to educate you guys, especially if you guys are trying to buy or looking into the future of one of these cars and there's one feature that really stood out that you liked it. I just wanted you guys to be informed so you can make the right decision. Amazing cars, whether you get a naturally aspirated model or whether you get a turbo model, they have amazing aftermarket support and they're really, really fun. You know, don't take my word for it, you know, go test drive one, or, you know, join the countless vlogs and communities that support these amazing vehicles. Again, I'm Shayness. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I was able to help you guys out, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for all the love, and keep doing you. Alright guys, this is the ending of the vid. You know, nothing funny, no outtakes this time, but I did want to give out a huge shout out and thank you to my friend Stephanie again for letting me borrow her car. I really appreciate it, you know, and I appreciate all the love and support I get from you guys. Again, thank you so much, Stephanie. Thanks for all the love.